everybody, welcome back to Messy Vegan Baker. I'm Christina, your wonderful hostess. Have you ever had a dessert that you've literally never tried, whether it's super popular or like maybe not that popular, but you've seen it and you think, oh, I've never tried that. That's interesting. Because that's what I'm making today. You guessed it, whatever dessert popped into your head, I'm making it. Just kidding, that would be weird. Today, I'm going to be making a dessert that I have personally never had. It's in the Nancy Drew movie with Emma Roberts. She bribes some guy to get files, and like she gives him this dessert, and he's like, OMG, it's so good, I will give you all the files. If only life was that easy. So that's where I saw it. And I've literally never had this dessert. I've never made it. I am pretty sure I've literally only seen it on that movie. Maybe it's more of like an East Coast thing or something, West Coast, I don't know. But it's just not a thing here, which is kind of interesting. Maybe it's just a dessert that's dying off. I decided to make this because I was going through my dad's new cookbook that I got him for Father's Day. It's totally right to like use their new presents, right? That's fine. So what, he hasn't actually made anything out of this cookbook yet. It's totally fine. Yeah. But anywho, so I was going through that cookbook because it's really cool. It's Cooks Illustrated. I was looking through that and I found these, and then I thought, well, I don't know what else to make because I just don't have any inspiration this week. So today we are going to be making Blondies, like me. Just kidding. Yes, so we're going to be making it vegan. I'm also halving the recipe because this calls for a 9 by 13 inch pan, which is just insane for me. I am doing, I want to say it's like a 9 by 9 pan. I really don't remember. And then instead of using vegan butter like I have been, I'm going to use coconut oil. I'm going to use chocolate chips like it calls for, and it calls for white chocolate chips. And I don't know if you remember, but I had these for Christmas, and I still have a bag because, well, they're not the best chocolate chips in the world, but I still have them, and I thought, well, maybe they'll taste better when they're in a Blondie. I don't know. So we're just going to try it out, and then instead of pecans, because I personally really hate them, I am going to do my beautiful vegan sprinkles. I haven't used these because I kind of forgot last time. Hopefully these will look gorgeous and make it look pretty. And oh yeah, I'm also going to use Bob's Red Mill egg replacer because I want to. Plus these are blonde and I just didn't want the flaxseed eggs being in there. Like, because you know how when you bake things, if it's a lighter color, you notice the flaxseed egg in there? So I think I have rambled on enough. Without further ado, let's get baking. So I have 6 tablespoons, yeah, this thing calls for a lot of butter, of melted coconut oil. There's like little flakes in the bottom though. So this was in the microwave and now it's cooled, which is awesome. And in a separate bowl, I have the flour, baking soda, and salt, which again, I will have my half of the recipe and the vegan version down below, probably in my blog, because I love my blog, and honestly, if you have not seen it, I worked very hard on it, and it is beautiful. Now we are going to use brown sugar. Now they call for light brown sugar, but I only have dark, so we're just gonna go with it. They just said that it has a better flavor profile, and it's more of like a butterscotch flavor, which is so fascinating. Like, part of the reason I love this book is because it explains that. It's my dad's cookbook, for now. Set your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And as you all know, I'm sure, whenever you have brown sugar, you pack that sucker in. We're gonna add this into here. And also, I'm sure if you wanted to use your stand mixer, you could. For some reason, I just didn't want to. I don't know why. Poor buddy, hasn't been used in a while. We're gonna mix it around. Just mix it until, I guess it's well combined. Not used to mixing. Yeah, I think that's good. We're going to add the egg and the vanilla. So I have talked about this before. I've had success either way, but personally, what I have found works best with the Bob Red Mill egg replacer is if you mix it and then use it essentially right away, because otherwise it almost seems like it gets dried out. And again, it's been fine, like it still does its job. 3/4 teaspoon of vanilla. And now we're gonna mix these together. Yeah, it would be easier with the stand mixer, just a lot less elbow grease, but that's okay. It's just made with more love or something. That seems to be getting very separated. Don't think that's supposed to happen, but have no fear because we have the flour. Now we're just gonna mix this in, and like any other cookie / even brownies, you don't want to overmix this. Once you see that it is mostly mixed, we are going to stop mixing. They still look pretty brown. Is that normal? Because blondies are like, oh, there we go. That's more of a blonde. Does it match? Just kidding. All right, so this is pretty mixed in. You're going to add in all your fun stuff. And honestly, I feel like blondies are typically like pecans and semi-sweet chocolate and white chocolate, but you can also do coconut and toast it though. Like toasted coconut or sprinkles, or I don't know, just like the world, is your oyster, man. Fold in all of your beautiful goodies. The sprinkles are so pretty. I love it. Ugh, so pretty. I need to take a picture. So now we're gonna stick it in here. I will say blondies are easy to make. I'm surprised they're not more common. Well, I say they're easy to make. Let's hope it turns out. Okay, not too shabby. Cute. All right, one more picture because for the gram, we're gonna bake it at, am I centered now? We're gonna bake it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for, they said about 22 to 25 minutes. But they also said that bake it until the top is shiny and cracked and kind of firm to the touch. So yeah, I will see you after these lovely things bake. They're more like dirty blondies. Okay, we're all good. Yeah, because I kind of burnt them. So something I had an issue with, which I've always had an issue with this with brownies, is when I opened them, they were like bubbling and boiling. So maybe that was the point when I needed to take it out. I don't know. But also the white chocolate chips, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's almost like the liquid evaporated or whatever, like something, and then it just left the little clumps of fat. So I find that super interesting. Also, the sprinkles are really hard to chew. They kind of ruin the texture. Not that there's much of a texture. I'm really annoyed because I've been doing so well and making things correctly the first time. The biggest issue I honestly think is that I overcooked them. Well, no, I don't think that's the biggest issue. It's the biggest obvious issue. I don't even know. I think it's the oil. Part of me wants to try it again with vegan butter and see if that responds better. But I'm not sure. I either need to do a different kind of fat, essentially, or do less of one. If I do vegan butter, do I need less vegan butter, or do I just need to add more flour? Because clearly there's something happening with brownies and with these that when I bake them, they need to be like a thicker texture. Because when I did the Minimalist Baker one, they turned out amazing. And that one was a pretty thick texture going in, but so is this one. I don't know. I might remake these just to try to see if I can't make them better. At least not burn them. I'll get back to you guys. I need to do some investigating. Since I last saw you, I decided that I was just gonna redo it because it takes literally 10 minutes to get everything together and then bake it. So, that being said, I decided to change a few things, and I know technically I should probably change one thing and see how that affects it, but we don't have time for that, or the ingredients. I decided that I was gonna go with Earth Balance because while I'm sure you can use oil with this, I wanted something that was similar to butter just to kind of try to give me like a good baseline, so next time if I make blondies, yes, we'll see. You know, I can kind of use it and try something out. I don't know. I also decided to like half melt it so it wasn't as melted as the coconut oil, partially because they say that they melt it so that it's not as cakey and it's more chewy, and I personally like a little bit more chewy. It was right in the middle between like creamed and with melted, you know? Does that make sense? Maybe. So I didn't totally melt it, but I didn't leave it at room temperature, so it was like in the middle. That makes sense. So yeah, so I did that. I made sure that the egg had a little bit more time to congeal and do its thing, because I think last time it was a little on the runny side. Let's see, what else did I mix? I put a lot less sprinkles and white chocolate chips in there because we don't need a ton of that. And then I added 2 extra tablespoons of flour because I wasn't sure. I mean, I did it early and I probably should have mixed it and then like kind of waited. Because I've had this issue with brownies, I wanted to put more flour in there just to help absorb all of the oil. So I added the flour and it basically was a cookie dough texture, and I almost thought about adding more liquid, but I thought, no, we're just gonna see how this goes. So it literally looks like a cookie. I don't know if it's supposed to look like a cookie or if it's supposed to be more like brownie cookie. I have no idea. These just remind me of my mom's Toll House bars, and it's funny, but also kind of that like, what are Blondies? I'm starting to understand why we don't make them, because they make no sense. They're supposed to be like between a brownie and a cookie, but they're more cookie-like, or depending on how you bake them. I just don't know, you guys. But anywho, and finally, the last thing that I changed was the baking. Also, partially, it only baked for 16 minutes. After that, it looks beautiful and gorgeous. And when I stuck a toothpick in it, it was baked. So I pulled it out. Why do Blondies exist? I'm so confused. They just don't make sense, you guys. Whatever. So I also, instead of using aluminum foil, I decided to use wax paper because it seemed like a jolly good idea. So that's what we did. I did grease it a little bit, even though it's still sticking. So I'm just gonna try this tiny piece since I have it. It tastes really good. Like, it's just such a weird combination that's not a combination. Also, I wouldn't recommend using wax paper on the bottom. I assumed that it would be great because it wouldn't stick because it's wax paper, but live and learn. If I wanted this again, I would just make my mom's Whole House bar recipe, which is on my blog, so go check that out. So overall, I think I could have baked these a little more because they are super flat. I'm just really confused with what is supposed to happen, because it's like a brownie, but a cookie, but they're like the same thing. I don't know. Whatever. I will have this on my blog in case you want to try it. If you know what Blondies are supposed to look like or supposed to be like, let me know in the comments down below, because I don't know. I'm just all confused. So they taste amazing, I will say that. If you want something different, you know, it's worth a try. If you're new here, welcome. Hello, I love new faces. It's very exciting. If you've been here for a while, welcome back. It's always exciting to have you guys too. Yeah, I hope you were entertained and or learned something. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you lovely humans next week. Bye.